All right, so derivatives of inverse trig functions. So just to make sure that we're clear, inverse sine of x, which is the inverse function of sine, can also be written arc sine of x. It means the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and do these derivatives with u's in them. So the derivative of arc sine of u, so u would be on the inside, is u prime over the square root of 1 minus u squared. Yes. Okay. So we'll do the three main ones. I'll give you an example of each. So if I was going to example one on this lesson, again, find the derivative. So if I was, being asked how to work it, let's say I have arc sine of 5x. Really, it's just a plug and crank. I need to find two things, u prime and square u. That's it. So I'm just going to go to the side and name my u. U is 5x. So my u prime is going to be 5. And then if u is 5x, and I know u squared is 5x quantity squared. And then it's just about subbing into the formula. So from there, so I can see that my derivative rule is arc sine of u is going to be u prime over the square root of 1 minus u squared. So I just sub into that formula. U prime is 5. Square root of 1 minus u squared, 5x quantity squared, which you could then make that 25x squared. But that's it. So it's just really plug and crank. Okay. So that's arc sine of u. All right. Then there's arc tangent of u. That derivative rule is u prime over 1 plus u squared. There's no square root in the bottom. Okay. So I had, like we'll say, arc tangent of e to the x. So say that's what we had. We had to find the derivative. So again, on all of these, you just need to figure out, label your u, what's your u, find your u prime, and then square u, and that's it. So again, as you can see in the formula, you just need to get u prime and then square u. So on this problem, e to the x is my u. So I know u is e to the x. So u prime is also e to the x. And then I've got to find u squared. So u squared is e to the x quantity squared, which is e to the 2x, not e to the x squared. Okay? And then I just substitute these two in. So I would write my derivative rule out, u prime over 1 plus u squared. In place of u prime, I put e to the x over 1 plus e to the x quantity squared, which is e to the x over 1 plus e to the 2x. And that's my answer. Okay? And then there's one more derivative rule. There's 6, but there's one more that I memorized, arc secant. I'm lying when I say I memorized because I very rarely use these. This one is u prime over the absolute value of u times the square root of u squared minus 1. The derivation of these requires trig. You use trigonometry to derive them. Again, because of the time and all that, I kind of forego those, but maybe I could derive this one on a separate video and post it. I may do that today when I get bored. So I'll post this derivation for you and explain where it comes from. I'll do it for x, and then you know how to replace it for you. So weird looking formula. Where does that absolute value come from? It has to do with the fact of when you're looking in quadrants with trig ratios and things like that. So this is based on a lot of trig because, of course, sine is It's trigonometry, right? So then again, it's just following the rule. It's just following the plugging in. So let's just say the last one, y is arcsecant of x minus 1, right? So again, I'm just going to label my u and I go to the side. U is x minus 1. So u prime is what? And u squared is what? So, and then on this one, I probably won't expand it. I'll just leave it just leave it as x minus 1 quantity squared. So really, I just find those things and then I plug it into the formula. And that's how you use it. Okay? So my u prime is 1, u squared is x minus 1 quantity squared, and then I just sub everything in. So y prime is u prime, which is 1, over absolute value of x minus 1, times the square root of u squared, which is x minus 1 quantity squared, minus 1. Now they may want you to expand that, but that's pretty much it right there. Okay. Now I said there's how many inverse trig rules? 6. So here's the other 3. I don't memorize them and you'll see why. They're all the co-function. Okay, so for instance, with arc sine is arc cosine, and here's all you got to do. All you do is, it's the exact same formula except they all just add a negative to the top. So for arc sine, the arc cosine is negative u prime over square root of 1 minus u squared. Then for this one would be arc cotangent. So arc cotangent of u, notice why I'm writing them side by side, it's the same as arctangent, it's just negative u prime over 1 plus u squared. And then arc cosecant of u is negative u prime over absolute value of u square root of u squared minus 1. So you can see why I don't memorize those 3. I know if it's a cosine, cotangent, cosecant, I just put a negative in the numerator with the u prime. And those are your 6 inverse trigonometric rules. We'll probably do a video on just you guys asking questions and us working problems. But I at least wanted to get you those 6 rules so you can use those in your homework, and you'll see those. So this is, I know, a short little clip, but I wanted to get you those 6 rules. So we've got our log and our basis here. We've got our 6 inverse trig functions. I'll derive this. I'll do a separate video and derive this. I'll probably do it now and post it, and then finding slope of inverse, we'll do that one tomorrow. So, okay.